Good morning. How are you today? It seems like spring is finally coming, and I'm excited about that. Sure you are too. I'm done with cold weather. My bones are cold and achy, and I just don't enjoy it as much as I used to. But that's not why I'm here. I'm dropping in just to chat a little bit about the healing sessions that I'm offering. And if you are a friend of mine, if I know you, you are welcome to come to the new studio in my home that I created for this healing. I love the room. It's very comforting. It's been a long time since I actually had a room to practice in. I when I was on Route 130, below the carpet store, I had a huge wellness center. I had a room, and then I was so busy with yoga, I rented my room out. So I had all these other facilitators of massage and healing, and they were renting all the rooms. So it has been maybe somewhere like 8 to 10 years since I've actually had a designated room for healing. So I'm super excited about that. And it's here in my home. So as long as you can deal with my little dog Collie, you're welcome to come. I'm only taking people I know or have been recommended by people I know. My blend of healing is everything from Reiki to different modalities that I've been doing for over 20 some years that I learned at Health Choices, like trigger therapy and polarity therapy, these different holistic massage techniques that they're not like Swedish. They're all about moving energy or aligning energy. And I've always brought them into my sessions. It makes them very different. And as time goes on, different things develop. I have this whole understanding of shamanic practicing, and I bring in levels of that. I bring in levels of angels and ascended masters. I bring in a channeling and a light language, or star language as I like to call it. But I can't say that any session is particularly the same because I never know what's going to come up or what I'm going to feel or sense or know, and what technique is going to come through. So they're very individual depending on what is the energy that I'm feeling when I'm working with you. And it's anything from hands above the body to a very light touch to maybe like a rock. And in some cases, a more specific touch, especially if I'm doing some acupressure or reflexology, which also can get added depending on what's needed. But I am a licensed massage therapist, so you're in good hands for that. And I feel like, a lot of people have been asking me, but I don't understand, what is quantum healing and what is it exactly that you do? And so when we think of the band of interconnectedness, or this web of interconnectedness that connects all things, we also have this within our person. So this interconnected web between our body, our mind, our emotions, our spiritual component, all of us, all the pieces of us. There is something that connects all of that. So if you have a pain somewhere in your body, that does correspond energetically to many other facets. It could be an emotional thing that you're going through, related to a past trauma or an injury that was created because there was an energetic block somewhere. There's lots of ties. So what I do is I work in this quantum field. What does that mean? I work on all the layers of the person. So we're not just experiencing physical touch or soft tissue release, but helping to facilitate your ability to naturally heal and for energy to shift and move and flow. And I'm also, contacting my guides that are from a different realm that are coming in as well. And that's through that channeled messages or just intuitive understandings that come in through me. So just as an example, without giving too much away, I was working on a client last night, and she was experiencing issues with her digestive tract, like the very end of the digestive tract where things were just not moving. And what I kept sensing in her body was that was what was happening energetically, that energy was flowing through all of the energy centers. One of them was flowing in a kind of backward direction instead of a forward direction. That sometimes happens when energy's flowing. It's not blocked, but it's not quite moving the way you want it to go. So it's not stagnation. That's not the right word. It's just this last bit of letting go, this final bit of releasing, and that had manifested in the physical. Now she's shared with me at least that she's had some trauma in the past, not specifically what it was, and I don't really need to know that. But my sense very much was that she's ready to release this from her body. She's ready to let go of it from her mind and from her emotion. This is our story, and sometimes we over-identify with our story, and we hold on to that consciously or unconsciously, and we're unable to let it go. So what I felt in her was that was the case. There was this old story. It was lingering. She consciously wants to let it go. She just can't figure out how to. And she's been working through therapy for quite a while. And her therapist also, like she knows that she's at this point where there's this last bit of something that needs to go. And we were talking about a specific area of her body where I felt this kind of block, or not block, but like hesitancy to release. Energy was just sort of bound up there. And it was a strange spot. So I said to her, what are you feeling in there? And she said fear, which is great. So if you work with me, we can work together and kind of get to the bottom of things. And I said, well, yeah, that made a lot of sense. So the fear, what I was sensing for her is the fear is actually about, sometimes we think that in order to release something, especially those of us that have been in these, holistic healing fields for a long time, that releasing trauma from our body has to be this big event, like where we either have this huge breakdown, or it has to, hurt, or, in some way it's going to be not fun, right? And I think that we've been programmed to believe that every release has to come with some traumatic ending itself. And my feeling very much for her, at least, was that that's not the case. For her, it's almost like I said to her, it's going to be like, and then it's just going to dissipate. It's just going to be this soft release. Almost maybe she won't even notice it. And I'm not saying that everybody will have that, but there is a possibility where, there's no suffering, where we get to a point where we're able to let go of the stuff, and it doesn't have to go in a big ball of fire. It doesn't have to go in some huge traumatic release. And her fear, or the fear that was associated with this last little piece in this one spot, was about that. It was about, oh my God, what if I allow myself to really feel all this stuff? Because then it's going to really, I'm going to explode. I'm going to break down. There's going to be this whole thing. And my thought was, it's not. Let's let go of that as also part of our old story, that everything has to be based around suffering, that everything has to be hard, that everything has to be difficult. Now, some of us, that's our story, and we're sticking to it. And so everything continues to be hard, and everything continues to feel like suffering. There's a new idea here. There's a new idea. We don't have to suffer. That is an optional path. And there is a softer, more gentler way of moving through energy and releasing energy. So that, I think that gave her some really good things to take with her from the energy session. And I said, definitely check back in with me because I want to know if what I did helped to, move that release on. And I said to her, after you do an energy session, drink plenty of water because that continues to help to clear and move energy. And I said, maybe you'll just wake up tomorrow morning and it'll be different. Maybe that's the case. But I definitely want to hear back if you have, what happens when this does eventually release. And I had worked with her a few weeks ago, and she had such a tremendously good experience that she wanted to come back again for this session. So all I can say is that my sessions are just like this. We, talk a little bit. You tell me what's going on, what brings you in. You lay down on the table. You don't have to do a thing. I do tell you to breathe, take some deep breaths, go into kind of a meditative state, release. And I'll do the rest to help you facilitate whatever healing you need. And then at the end, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what you felt. We'll talk about what I felt or saw. And I'll try to piece some things together for you as to what I feel is this energy for you. So that's what my healing sessions are like. And I am available the end of April, the last 2 weeks of April, and a little bit the first week of May for some healing sessions if you want to book for me. And I do have this special right now that are $85 for doing this energy healing with me, quantum healing. And then I'm going to be going away for some travel. So I won't be back until sometime in July. So July and August, I will also have lots of availability. So I'm also open to planning ahead if you want to put something down in the books for that. So reach out to me now because this is, you got to get in now in the next couple of weeks to get these things flowing and going. And I'm really enjoying working in my new space and offering this for you. And it's also helping me to heal. So there's this gorgeous reciprocity that's happening as well. So thank you so much. And maybe my chai is cooled down enough to drink now. And I'll get on with my day. And blessings to all of you for a gorgeous and fabulous day.